we need to learn that this whole tongue thing, as small as it is in the body, it has power. Even the Bible acknowledges it, that there is power in the Bible did not say there's power in your brain. It did not say there's power in your legs. It did not say there's power in your hand. It said there is power in the tongue. Now, even if there are powers in every other aspect of your body, you see this tongue, the Bible said the power of life and death. It did not say power of life, or it said power of life and death lies in the tongue. Hello guys, welcome to yet another edition of the Xperience show, and my name is Princess Nwogu. If you just joined us the very first time, you're very welcome. This is TikTok TV, and we bring to you all stories from all around the globe. We invite individuals to come and share their experiences with you. These experiences tend to change your life or your perspective of how you see things. Now, unlike every other edition where I have guests coming to tell me their own experiences, I actually have my own experience, Do you understand? And I'm going to be sharing with you today two of my experiences that actually changed my life so much. One happened in recent times, and the other happened like about a decade and a half ago. Yes, I'm actually old enough to be that age. Yes, welcome yet to another edition. And my name is Princess Nwogu. And now I'm going to call it a shoot. I'm going to be starting from the very first experience. But before then, I want to give you three biblical instances that actually I would want to use to portray these particular experiences very well. Now, this incident happened far back as 2009. You heard me correctly, 2009. So I always got to understand that there was power in the tongue, but I never really believed there was power in the tongue until it actually happened to me. Normally when you tell somebody, let me use the F word, thunder, we understand you, hey. It would literally not happen on a regular day. If you and somebody having an argument, I'd be like, thunder, will, hey. But on a norm, I've heard of stories where people say thunder will do that same thing to you, and it literally happened. And then I realized that pain has a way it fixates your life. Now, something happened in 2009. I was left at home. I think my other sister was out of the house. I would rather say she went to see a man, but I'm not sure up to today who she went to see. So she literally went out, and somewhere around the corner, I decided to go look for her. I left the house. So we lived in an apartment where we had just I think 5 neighbors, inclusive of ourselves. We had 5 neighbors, inclusive of that were 6 in just the compound. And everybody had their own respective privacy. So we had one neighbor that had a very huge dog. Like, I had phobia for dogs up till that time. It was after this incident I stopped having phobia for dogs. So this incident happened. I said, okay, I want to go through the back of the house and lock the back door properly, which I knew I had already locked from the inside. So I wanted to just check. And I passed through those people's frontage because I have to pass their frontage to get to my backyard. And I saw the dog there, and me always being convinced that the door was always locked. I made faces at the dog, and I'm like, do you understand? I went back, and I was coming back, and the next thing we heard, hey, whiskey's out, whiskey's out. Before I could turn, I saw the dog on me, and it was just the grace of God that someone was able to push this dog away. Now you may be asking, where's the power of the tongue in this whole thing? Chill, take a chill pill. The story is still coming. Somewhere I didn't realize this dog had beaten me. And I was that kind of person that everybody loved my complexion then. Oh, you have fine legs, you have nice legs, you have this. So getting to be beaten on my leg, it really took a lot from me. And then we were rushed to they rushed me to the hospital. The first hospital, there was no doctor on ground. Yes, it was just a bite, but then we had to be scared for rabies and the rest because we're not really sure if the owners of the dog were actually, treating this dog. So we got to the second hospital. There was no light, but they had the facilities to treat the leg. And then the nurse gave me this particular injection. Sorry, I'm not in the medical line, so I may not really know their names properly. She gave me this very injection that was supposed to make me go limp. And the first one worked. The second one was supposed to be a painkiller. It did not work. But the first one, since the first one had already worked, they had to go up with the operation of stitching the leg. That was when I knew I could speak in tongues without even the Holy Ghost coming down. I didn't need to wait for the day of Pentecost. That was just the day of Pentecost for me. I began to tell people I was rapapapayeing. That was how it was I want to rapapapaye. I was speaking in tongues because I could feel the pain, but I couldn't move my leg. And if there was anything that nurse heard from me was thunder, you. I was always telling her constantly. And there was no light in the hospital, plus all the pains and everything, it compiled in my head. Now, to the main part of the story. I had to go to the hospital every day to get my legs cleaned up, to, and just get the whole thing done. The people who had the dog came home and were like, oh, sorry. It was already more damage already done because the story was not even working for me. I had lost the beauty of my body, which was my leg. And I was limping. I couldn't really do things. They had to bathe me. Yes, I was quite young, but they had to bathe me, clean me up because water should not get into the stitch to avoid it getting rot. So that the last week, this whole stitch thing is usually 1 week. So the last week where I was supposed to go take off my stitch. So I was coming back. My auntie was like carrying me on her back because like I said, I was limping, so I couldn't really walk properly for that 1 week, and I didn't go to school. So I had this very close friend of mine. I think her name was Ella. Ella had a brother. That boy was actually a total menace. I would call him a menace to the society because as young as he was known to be a troublemaker. Yes, I do love fighting with boys at that time. Like, you're a man or a boy, rather you cross my path, me and you will fight. I don't really care if you're older than myself, but I want to show you that what a man can do, a woman can do more better. Probably because I was also a tomboy then. Thank God for grace. I didn't really I would actually leave that tomboy story. But yes, it happened that way. So I was coming back, my auntie, and he was literally laughing and making mockery of me, telling me, "Nto, dog don't bite you." That was his exact lines. "Nto, dog don't bite you." And I was so bittered because ordinarily, if you abuse me, the first instinct is to beat you or to fight with you. So at that moment, I was incapacitated. I couldn't fight. So when he said it, it got to my heart. And I literally didn't know when I told him, "Don't worry, dog will bite you too." Ah, I would say nobody heard me except for him that was telling it. I went to my house and I still went again and I was like, "Dog will bite you. Dog will bite this boy. Dog will bite." I was just making that remark the entire day. And the fact that I could literally walk after they took off the whole stitch, it made me emphasizing dog will bite you, dog will bite. I was saying it from a place of pain. Now let me pause and take you back to where I said I wanted to give you 3 biblical instances of where pain actually made a difference. First of all, let's take in the life of Hannah. Hannah had been barren for a long, long time. We would not say Hannah has not been praying. She has been praying. She has been fasting. She has been kabashing. But that particular time she went to the temple to pray, even the prophet thought she was drunk because she had gotten to a level of pain. This is where your pastors will not preach in church because they want to preach the miracle aspect. But let's look at the psychological aspect. It had gotten to a level of pain where your co-wife is busy abusing you. She has children. She gets a larger portion. Your husband may literally not even care for you 100%. She was in that aspect of pain that her entire medulla oblongata was thinking differently. When the prophet saw her, he was like, "Are you drunk?" She said, "I am not drunk." And that was when she now made a vow to God and said, "If you give me a son, I will give him back to you." That was what she said. And it didn't take up to, I wouldn't want to say it didn't take up to 3 years before you knew, Anna had her own son. Do you want to tell me she had not been praying before? But this prayer came from a place of pain. Second of all, the handmaid of Sarah, when she got pregnant and had a child, Ishmael, at one point, Sarah sent her and the child away. Now, when they went away, they were sent away with nothing. At one point, the handmaid was at one corner crying, lamenting, "Oh, this one, that one, there was no water, no food." Now, there were 2 people praying. One person's prayer was more physical than the other. The other person was using Christ to actually tell God that, "God, I am thirsty. Do you want me to die?" Which was her son. But she on her own, she was just there lamenting, thinking of her life. And all of a sudden, it said God heard the cry of the child. Do you want to tell me that the mother was not crying? Or do you want to tell me that God was selfish? But no. At that point in time, both of them were in pains. But they are categorical pains that are different. Her own pain was just, she was in pains for what probably she had agreed to, getting pregnant for Abraham. But this child was an innocent child. So his pain was different. So when God actually, this child had cried. And then God now used her to bring that child water. That's the second one. Now, the third one, we know this popular one, the man whose name only appeared one time in the Bible, or the man whose story, his mother actually named him Jabez because according to her, he was a child of sorrow. Child that did not do anything. But this guy made a plea to God. Change my story. Do you want to tell me that before he got to that age, he has not been praying before? He has been praying. But at that time, he was fed up. And this was where pain puts you in a position that when you make prayers or when you say things, that's when you know the audacity of your tongue. But the Bible says the power of life and death is in the tongue. You may say things casually, but it's the way your mind will be fixed. Those things will happen. Those things will get to happen. Now, fortunately for me, I got admission into secondary school the next year. I didn't go early enough because I was afflicted with chickenpox, so I had to stay 1 week again in the house. But when I went, I came back for the December holiday, and it was still around the same time I got beaten by dogs. So I was literally celebrating 1 year anniversary because the scars were still very obvious because it took a chunk out of my flesh. I came back. Ella is my friend. Ella is someone I used to vibe with. So I came back with those whole, secondary school joy. I want to tell you what happened in boarding school, the guys I met, people I had a crush on, people who never even sent me, people that flogged me. I had all those like massive thinking in my head, and I wanted to share with Ella because Ella was like one of my closest friends, and so someone I've never really had a rival with throughout the time of our friendship as kids. And I got to the house because this is my compound, and then a few blocks next is her compound. I got to the house, and the first person that rebukes me was her mother. I was like, this man has never done this before. She was like, go, 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 go. I don't see my house. Go, go. I don't see. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, originally when I was a kid, I was very disrespectful. Do you understand? I thank God, I tell myself, thank God for God, because I wonder how I would have gotten to this age and still had that lifestyle. And like, I know, send your papa. That was me for you. I was, because my guardians were actually very much good parents to me. So they spoiled me with luxuries of life at that tender age. I wouldn't say they spoiled me because they still caned me as well, but I think the spoiling actually got part of my head. So sometimes if you ever talk to me anyhow, I go change them for you. I'll tell you like what it is. Like, why are you talking to me anyhow? Jonas, I remember one lady giving me cabin biscuit, and I was like, I don't eat this. I didn't eat cabin biscuits till I got to boarding school, and that was when I had to like test cabin biscuits. Originally, I don't eat it. So that was the whole flick I was on. So when she rebuked me, in my mind, I'm like, I don't understand. She said, it's you that said that dog will bite my son. Now dog has beaten my son. I was like, shoo? I didn't even remember I said that thing. It was when she said it. And at that time, the boy was now using crutches because of the dog that beat him without mercy. And I'm like, so this thing I said actually came to pass. The first thing that was in my mind, I smiled. Do you understand? Because I wanted him to feel that pain I felt, but I didn't expect it to be that bad. So when she rebuked me and told me, and the funniest thing is that when I said that thing, she wasn't around. So that means that when that dog had beaten that boy, people had actually said, oh, see what somebody has said about your son so and so time, and now it has happened. That means I had been discussed behind my back by people I may not even know. So when I saw him later on, he wasn't, although he doesn't use crutches anymore, but he limps now. So when I saw him, I was like, it was not my turn to tell him "Nto," because that was like one of the most painful things you can ever tell a child when I was young. You said that "Nto." Even if I don't want to cry before, I will cry. Like even if I want to bone my face, don't tell me "Nto," I'll cry. So I wanted to tell him back, but then I had to understand something, that indeed there is power in this tongue. What I said, and I did not really put it into reasoning that, oh, this thing will happen, happened. So if by chance someone else had plotted that thing for that boy, but because I had said it openly, whatever had happened to that one, they would not come and say it is you. If it's to be the OD, they will tell you, you are an obanje. That's what they will tell you, you're a cursed child. Meanwhile, at first I was just talking from the aspect of pain. I was just relating because this boy had insulted me, or this boy had made mockery of me in front of people. Probably he had made mockery of me in front of my crush, uncles that were liking me because I had a fine leg. But this boy had like ruined my own part of my own like existence in that place. So what I know I learned from that experience, you see this whole tongue of a thing. This time around, you don't even see me like lashing out to anybody if I'm angry. I will allow you to go with your problem. Like you get upset with me or I get upset with you, me lash out at you. I will remember, my mind will always go back. Don't talk. Oh. I wouldn't say that no instances I've said things that has come to pass. The instances where I've said things, even against family members, that came to pass. And whenever that thing will happen, I would just be like, oh, Princess, you said this thing. And I'll begin to feel guilty. I think I still have one that burdens me in my mind today. I said that thing about a particular family member of mine. I even had to confess to my family member that I said this thing, no, but I did not say it from the point of which is even happening now. But I know that when I finally saw the result of what I said, it dawned on me. I was like, your prayer that actually be answered. But Amy, it wasn't an intentional prayer. So I just decided that at some point, if I get upset with somebody, is it that I'll walk away. So I will just go to my house. I know I soliloquize a lot, so I'll just talk. And when I'm talking, the topic will change. The topic will change. But we need to learn that this whole tongue thing, as small as it is in the body, it has power. Even the Bible acknowledges it, that there is power in the Bible did not say there's power in your brain. It not say there's power in your legs. It not say there's power in your hand. It said there is power in the tongue. Now, even if there are powers in every other aspect of your body, you see this tongue, the Bible said the power of life and death. It did not say power of life, or it said power of life and death lies in the tongue. So how you relate with people, things you say, things you prophesy unto yourself, and most of you be like, oh, but I've been saying things now, it don't used to happen, it don't used to happen. The spirit world is a very large place, so you don't know where you're depositing your speech to. You don't know who is hearing your prayers, or you think it's only God in heaven that is the spiritual being we have. There are other things, there are other entities that are walking around. They call them walking corpse. They are walking around that they will hear your prayers. I've had instances where somebody will say something, the thing will happen. But the thing that happened is not even the person that sent it. Some other person has used you as covering that, oh, since you said this thing, bam, bam, let it happen. Maybe I had this person in mind, let it just happen. Just to put you in a situation where you cannot come out. And everybody will be like, now you talk, and because they had seen you. When I said that thing, the mother of this boy was not around. But when I came back, she had already heard that so and so person said, oh, that dog will bite your son. Now, let me call it a wrap on that story. Now, for the second experience I'm going to share is something that happened about my life. And whenever I get to remember that thing, I'm always scared for my life. And I'm always like, you know, get as you won't be. You see my relationship with God, I always fall back. I fall out a lot. I'll tell you that you see this life I they give God, that they carry and come out. Like if I give him on Sunday, I'll call it on Monday. Monday night I give him, they do exchange every night. But the relationship with God keeps on growing stronger. This happened about 3 years back. I wouldn't want to start from the beginning because my parents don't really know about the beginning, but the beginning happened. I was going through a stage of depression, so I was really doing drugs a lot. So I traveled one time to see my mom, and I happened to get involved in drugs that period. And at first, before I even traveled to see my mom, I was having these pale hands. My hands are always shining white. I was always feeling very dizzy. Like I just feel like I needed like something was off in my body. So I was like, okay, probably just maybe malaria. Probably malaria parasite, whatever it could be. I'm not a medical personnel, like I will always tell you, please don't judge me. So I went to my mom. I think that night when I got back, I began to feel very, very cold. I was like, I went out and I came back. I was feeling very cold. I was like, Mom, I don't understand myself. Oh. The next night I began convulsing. Kilele. It was more like I was aware of what was happening. It's more like your spirit is standing. Your body is going through a lot. My spirit was standing, watching. Before you know, I became very strong. 5 men, okay, let me say 1 man and 3 women in that room, including my younger sister, could not lift me off the chair. I had that much weight. And this would be like the weight of a dead body. They had to now call a nurse. The nurse came and gave me some certain injections. Probably it felt like it was acute malaria. They gave me some certain injections, and it took over 30 minutes for me to get myself. Some of them were saying, bring urine, pour on her, that this is spiritual case, bring this, bring that. And I'm like, bring the ring. I would see, my spirit was seeing all those things, but my body could not interact. So they gave me the injection. I went to sleep. The next morning, a friend of mine called me like, fun at the party now today. Someone has said you were the life of the party the last time. Come, come, come. I said, guy, I don't tire. I'm not feeling too strong. He said, don't worry, we'll pay your transport. We'll even give you feeding money, blah, blah, blah. Based on saying that my guy will not turn up for him party, I was like, okay. This was happening on the 25th of January that year. I was like, okay, no wahala. Let me just lose my hair, weave my hair. When I lose it, I'll just weave it. Probably when I come, I'll look for who will give me wig because I was not wearing wigs then. Forget this life you're seeing now. So I somehow lose my hair. I was my landlord's house then. My mom said I was in her landlord's house sleeping because I had to sleep in that house so they could monitor me. Everybody did 9 VG for my sake that day. I finished using the hair. I came back to my mommy. They've called me for work in Port Harcourt. I want to go and work. I'll be coming back tomorrow, probably thereabout. My mom was like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm strong enough now. I went into the room. I called my partner then. We were talking and I were just laughing. All of a sudden, I felt cold again. I said, baby, don't worry, let me call you back. I don't understand what's going on then. I began to shake. I was calling my mom's name. My mom was not hearing me. Hey! I was shouting, mommy, mommy. With the last energy I had, I called her on my phone. She barged inside. Everybody came out. I had already turned stone cold. Like I said, spirit was standing, body was going. My mom being she has hypothetical, like just the way she over exaggerating, she would want to die. My mom began to panic and then called people. Everybody that coming. Hey. Where I was, where the local government my mom stays, they believe in church first before hospital. So that was the problem I had. The first place they took me was the church outside our compound. They took me to the church. A lady came. My papa has blessed this water. Let's pour it on her. My papa has blessed this water. Let's wear her papa's bangle. That was when I stopped believing anything called papa. because this water that Pastor Papa had blessed allegedly, they were pouring me water. I was still like, you know when you're cold, but you're still feeling cold. Papa has called. Papa said they should continue praying for her. I'm dying. I'm going. Papa said, Papa, which Papa? I'm not against any man of God, but let's be obvious. Dr. Save a Life Foundation will tell you that there are spiritual things going on too. There are physical things going on. Do not allow your spirituality to override your physical when you need a medical emergency. I was like, my body could literally figure out things, but I was gone. I called my landlady with the last, and I told her, I'm tired. I'm going already. She said, God forbid, I cannot go anywhere. That was when it now dawned on her that I needed to go to the hospital. She said, call this one, that one. Before you know, they brought the bike. Piam, to the hospital straight ahead. I was dropped on the bed, emergency. My eyes had already turned white. I wasn't seeing anymore. I wasn't feeling anything. The doctor came, pinched me, slapped me. Princess this, princess that. Spirit was standing there looking at them. Princess Otilo, she's gone. And I began to say a prayer in my heart. I said, God, I cannot die the way my father died. Not as much as the two different kids. My dad died very young. I think my dad was around 27, 28 when he passed on. So I was barely 22, 21 then. I was like, God, that was just the prayer my spirit was making. But there was something that was telling me, oh, it is your time to die. I said, it's a lie. This was now a spiritual battle for me in the physical. I said, no, I was not going to die. The doctors came, they pinched and pinched. They're like, emergency ward, turn out to the emergency ward. They were sending me everywhere. Doctor said that they don't have to like take vitals and the rest. Within 10 minutes, they came back and was like, my blood was at 0.6%. When I had 0.6, like when my mom told me what they said, I was like, 0.6K. They started giving me injections, but the more they were trying to put injections in my body, the injections were breaking off. That was how bad it was. Successfully, they were able to manage to use one pin that had stayed on my lap that did not break. They put like about 8. I had that first day, I took 16 different injections. They said it was to circulate the remaining blood flow they had till they could find the blood for me for blood transfusion. This was me, they were giving injections. I couldn't make a movement. After the whole 16 injections, I slept off. It's like the spirit had to come back and say, okay, it's not time to die. Came back. I came back. And I'm O negative. So finding an O negative blood was going to be very difficult. The only person who had O negative alongside myself in my entire family was my father, which obviously was dead. Where do we want to find out? And according to WHO, O negative bloods are like the rarest to find. They are always 1 in 25 in every generation. So am I going to now look for O negative to find to give me blood? They began to search. All the hospitals did not have. And in my head, they're like, Nasa will carry die. That was what I was asking myself. Nasa will carry die. So we had waited. My mom had waited, called people. They said, okay, it was going to cost 45,000. My mom said they should bring. My guardians all sent money, buy and let it just be she's going to be alive. To cut the long story short, I got to that hospital around probably after 10 in the morning. I had to wait till 9 p.m. in the night before they could find a blood that matches. From 10 till 9. That is to tell you that I was on a very thin line of survival. Everybody had given up. Even the doctors had given up that they would not find this blood. In fact, I think that at some point they were preparing a space for me in the mortuary because the injection was not supposed to be beyond that day. And like I said, a whole of them had broken off. And they were not even sure if they had found the right vein. Just had to find one needle that stuck to my leg. At some point, around 9 p.m. that night, the blood came in. Bam, bam, there was no light in the hospital. I've been through a lot, but it's a testimony, I would say. There was no light in the hospital. And the doctor said, you would not eat nor drink anything till the blood had successfully gone in. I say, I cannot drink this blood. Let me shake myself. The blood will just shake, and I will get myself as the blood has entered. Because I could now see, I could now talk a bit, but I was down. My eyes were still shining white. My hands were pale. Doctor had asked, did you see signs that you were losing blood? I said, lose the blood, didn't I did not. Which signs? See, science students, people should please educate to ask students of the need to actually pay attention to your vitals. Because my hands were always shining white. They were always cold. But I did not see any need to go and meet a physician. Because me, I'm not supposed to be sick. So we started the blood transfusion. They had to make it really slow because of my whole body vitals and everything. My pulse was actually abnormal. It got to 12 o'clock. I told them to remove the blood because I was awake. I was thirsty. This was me that drank almost 1 liter of water before the whole thing. Oh. I told them I wanted water. There was no light. I couldn't breathe. I had breathing issues. There were a whole lot of issues that came up along the line. I had breathing issues. Part of my bodies were going limp. Half of my body was paralyzed already. So I told them they should take off the blood. I needed air. I went outside. The giant mosquitoes knee. I ran back inside the hospital because I couldn't stay outside again. I had slept till 2. And I just told God that, please, I don't want to die. You and I know we have an agreement already. This is not the first time I'm coming to the hospital. It's not the first time I'm actually going under the needle. It's not even the first time I'll even be going under the knife. I told God that, see, if I die now, to worry you because you will miss me. I had to remind him of the good things he would miss if he doesn't allow me to stay. I told God I am a child of purpose. I'm the only child of my dad. So I had to remind God of a lot of things that I just couldn't die at this point. It was not going to be possible. Like, do you mean that if I die now, every time my dad's lineage dies? Because there's no boy in front, there's no other girl behind. It's just me, myself, and I. If my dad were to be alive, probably I'll have like numerous siblings by now because my dad was a banger. But he wasn't there. I had to tell God that, see, I need you to be here at this time. I need you to understand that I am not ready to die. I'm not even finished school. I will not be among those people that they will tell you that, oh, they started in year 1 or final year, they couldn't make it again. It's a lie. I will not be part of that story. I know I was dying alone, but that particular die, I told you, God, I know I sinned. But you had said that you did not come for the righteous, you came for the sinner. So if you came for me, Christ Jesus, this die is not for me and you. You've already died all the die you want to die on the cross. And he said it is finished. I reminded myself of everything about positivity that the Bible had told me that you shall live and not die. In fact, that's when I knew a lot of Bible verses. I brought them out in my head. I was not speaking out, but my spirit was doing the talking for me. I feel like at that time the Holy Ghost was interceding for me. So I needed to just add my own mouth. It's just like, oh, this person they intercede for me, they talk and make I talk and me back God here. So the Holy Spirit was interceding for me. I was praying for myself. My mom doesn't really, I wouldn't say she believes in prayer because she's not from Nigeria. So she comes from, I'll call her country diabolical country, but she's not a diabolical person herself, but because she has been in Nigeria most of her life. But it's more like their perspective of God is different from what we as Nigerians have as our perspective of God. Do you get? So it happened that way. And by 2 o'clock, I told them, put the blood back. I prayed. I told God, please let me just sleep. You know I'm thirsty. You know I'm hungry. But please let me just sleep. That was how I went back to the hospital. There was still no light. There was still no fuel in the generator. I slept off till the next morning. The doctor came in at around 8 in the morning and gave me final injections. The blood had already gone down. Just water that was in the bag. And I'm like, sure, on the wine now. What's gonna give me saying that blood? That blood tonic. So the doctor took up everything and he said something. He asked me one question, how did you survive? That's what he asked me. I laughed. Because when he came, I was already walking around the room. I was there like someone that was rushing to an emergency ward. He said, how did you survive? Because you were supposed, he said it that you were dead at when you were brought into this hospital. You were dead. So it was more like we're doing a 50-50 chance. She fit, no fit. How did you survive? I just smiled. I said, maybe I can retire, Jesus. And my mouth was strong. I was still talking. I said, Doctor, I want to eat. I need vegetable. I need this. I need that. It was like, oh, I was actually going to need another pint of blood. That pint was not going to be enough. I said, no, let me carry this one first. I will look for a donor. I had to start searching for friends who was O negative. Like, it's literally like on my 1,000 content, I didn't have O negative. I was only having O positive. There was no O negative. So then I believe WHO that, oh, there was it. But then it changed my perspective about God. It changed my view about God. Before, I had a very close relationship, but due to 1 or 2 youthful exuberance, my relationship with God became estranged. But that particular event brought me back to my senses, and I realized that no matter how far you go as a prodigal son, you will remember your master. And that was how I remembered God in my time of need. It's not like, oh, I should be grateful that, oh, it was only in time of need I remembered God. I'm grateful because in that time of need, when I remembered him, he was there as a father. Because I had to remind him, he said, you are the father of the fatherless, the husband of the widow. Yeah, my mama, we did the same condition. She's the widow, I'm the fatherless. So you cannot abandon us. I'm not trying to go whole biblical or anything, but even the Bible said, like, since I was born, I have never seen the righteous suffer, nor his children beg for bread. Serving God has its advantage. I committed myself to teaching in church at age 6 in children department. My favorite verse was always John 3:16. Each time I read that verse, it always hits different. It told me that this love about of God is endless. It's not something that you can find in any mortal parents. It said, if your good parents can give you good gifts, what about our Father in heaven that will give, even without you asking? So as much as I was battling with my life, I had to remember, hey, there is God. There has to be God. There must be God. So when I come online this is and I see people wanting to give theory of if God is real, if Adam and Eve were the first people on earth, if Angel Gabriel is this one, if Angel, I will just go up. I will not let you corrupt an encounter I have had, because I have had encounter with God countless numbers of times on survival. If God were like to be fake, as most of them would say, who is the person now defending us? Who is the person fighting our battles? You tell me that, oh, the biblical stories are just myths and mythologies. For every myth and mythology, there's something that would have actually led to those things that people call myth and mythology. So forget about what anybody is telling you about God. Your own conception about God, your own thinking about God will really tell you what kind of relationship you have. Do you want to have a father-daughter relationship, an employer to an employee, a boss to an employee, a teacher to a student? I choose to have a father-daughter relationship. I don't get papa. So each time I remind God that, see, you are the only father I have. Oh. Anybody should not make it. Make sure if you're flogging me, flog me with mercy and grace. I will still come back. I will still be here. I will still find my roots. I said he left the 99 to find only one. I always, oh God, I don't know how to explain it, but God has done wonders. This is my experience. I may have a whole lot of experience, but these two experiences have stood out for me. One about controlling my tongue. Two, about having a connection with God that you can call him anytime. You can call him. Because at that time, when I told them, oh, I don't want to live again, I've given up, I should have died. Because what I've said to my mother already happened. But I had to remind myself that no, I had to begin to speak life. And I began to speak life. Please try to read your Bible. So in case of instances like this, even if you don't know the Bible verse exactly, you know what to quote. I may not, all these things I quoted, I may not know the Bible verse, but my pastor has said it. I have marked it in my Bible. I have marked it somewhere, but I had to memorize it. Even when I'm lacking wisdom, I know where to say, oh, I need wisdom. Oh, I'll run to James. I'll not start looking for, I will go to verse 1, I'll check. This should be there in 5 or 19. I'll check again. Okay, there, I will not see it. I know it's James. I may not know the exact number, but I will go. At least I still remember that one, James 1 verse 5. So now, before I leave you guys, I'm going to leave you with these two things. Now, you know that trusting God is actually one of the most important things you should learn. Because even armed robbers to pray before they go for operations. Night workers to pray before they go for operation. Now let it remind you that you're a child of God. Now waiting for somebody to remind you to pray. As much as I know a lot of Bible verses. I do not even know what particular chapter they are coming from, but I could actually recite these Bible verses. So you must not particularly pin it down. The most important thing is reciting this thing. Because not Jesus Christ quoted any Bible numbers. He just quoted the Bible straight to the devil in terms of temptation. So anything you're doing, anyhow you want to see it, remember that you should always guard your tongue. Not everything you should say, not everything should come out of your mouth. I know anger is a very strong thing, and yes, people want to actually say, oh, now causing the verse in talking now. They'll always remember it when the negativity happens. Me, if I have my own body in my head that things I've actually said that has happened, and when they happened, I was like, God, I wish I did not say this thing. But it's easier said than done. Sometimes even you saying sorry to yourself is a problem because you know you've already gotten into trouble. So anything you do in life, from my own experience, I've learned that I shouldn't talk. Even if I'm in a relationship or you're making me angry, I'll just allow you to do what you're doing. It's better I walk away with my peace of mind than for you to come and give me headache. I'll just walk away and leave you, let you do your thing. Because I know that if I say something, there are a lot of things working around. Do you think it's only God that is the only spiritual being in this life? There are other spiritual things that are also working. I'll call them working cops. They are working up and down, waiting for you to just say one thing. They pick your word. It may not even be that you haven't against the person, but because of your angry, you just say something. And then they'll pick it and do it. And then people now remember, oh, and this person do this person one has said this thing. And then people begin to think outside the box in things that are not good. So please, whatever you do as a child of God, as an individual, when I even see people posting about facts of they want to say God is a myth, God is a mythology, Jesus is this, Jesus is that. I don't listen to those people because I'm the only one that knows the encounter I've had with God himself, or even with Jesus, or even with the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. I'm the one that knows what this experience is worth to me, and I know how they changed my life. So I will not allow someone that has not even gone through the 4 words of experience to come and start telling me it's a myth. They will tell you of this so mythology, this mythology. They want to check this mythology. I will still check just for the cruise of it. But say I'm checking because you're convincing me, it is a lie. I've seen different religions that will still fall back to God. So please, oh, I don't know how you're thinking about it, oh. I don't know how you're seeing it. But whatever you do, remember these two things. Guard your tongue more efficiently and learn to call God, because you have to establish that father-child relationship. The Bible says he's the father of the fatherless. You must not be fatherless to communicate with God. Jesus had an earthly father, also heavenly father. Do you understand? But yet he still had a relationship with God. So learn to actually have a relationship with God and tag your tongue, pin it, close it. Not everything you would say. I do hope you've learned from my own experience, because I still have a lot of experience that I've not even shared. Experience not the tired Jesus. Experience choke. It choke. But these are the ones I know that have stood out to me, that has made me who I am mostly in this part of my life. So yes, to the team behind the cameras, my director, Excel Media, to my soundsman, Arinze Eni, aka Beating Radical Boy for Jesus. If you haven't streamed his song, thank you. Please go and stream it. It's available on all social media platforms to stream. It's also available too on Audio Mark. You see it there. Thank you by Eni Arinze. And yes, to the boss and the whole management of TikTok TV on the Experience Show, we want to say we really appreciate you. To all of our guests who have actually come before, we still want to appreciate you. Those of you too who are thinking of joining to tell your story, to share, do well to drop your comment on any part of the video you said, and we'll do well to single you out to come to this platform and share your story, because stories, we're never tired of hearing them. We keep on hearing them every day. So till I come your way again with another beautiful episode, it's still your girl Princess Nwogu. Yes, a very fine girl on TikTok TV. It's from me to you, and I say bye.
You started feeling we have a sound. Exactly.